Hello, Catherine.
You're taking us off to the Geneva Motor Show.
Yes, I am, and this comes at a time that a recovery is well underway in the European car market. We saw sales rise by 5.6% in the European Union last year to 12.5 million vehicles sold, but that's still well below the peak sales of 16 million back in 2007. Car makers will be hoping to build on that progress as well as to show off their latest designs. For more on this, we can go to Geneva and speak to Paul Willcox, who's the chairman at Nissan Europe. Paul, thank you for joining us on France 24. We have those signs of a recovery in Europe. Is that being borne out in what you're seeing in your sales?
Yeah, we've had a very good 18 months, to be honest. We grew our share last year to 4.1%, which is a breakthrough for us. And we grew by 13%, but as you rightly say, the market is showing signs of recovery. We're quite cautious and we anticipate a repeat in 2015 of around 4 or 5% growth and a steady, slow recovery back towards that peak. It will take a number of years to get there, but we anticipate further growth.
And is that enough for you for now? Do you feel like that sort of steady growth is, a manageable pace and something that will be sustainable?
Well, we think so. I think certainly in Western Europe, our expectation with the products that we have, so certainly speaking specifically for Nissan, obviously we've had a big success by introducing crossovers. Products like Qashqai and Duke and X-Trail have helped to grow our share dramatically, and we expect to continue that growth into the midterm. And today we're showcasing a concept car which is called Sway, which is a small car concept. We'll give an indication of potential design of our cars in the future. So we're very optimistic. We're making a big investment in Europe, both in terms of industrial base, in terms of manufacturing, engineering and design. And Nissan has a massive commitment, and we expect that to pay off through what we believe will be some recovery, but not dramatic recovery in the overall demand.
And what about Russia? Obviously, the country has its own economic crisis to deal with, a currency crisis as well. Is that affecting your business?
Yeah, it has had a massive impact. Within my region of Europe, it includes Russia and Ukraine, and there are two impacts. The first one is a dampening of demand. The final quarter of last year saw a 10% reduction in overall demand in Russia, and that was supported by a government scrappage incentive for domestic manufacturers, of which Nissan is one. But the overall demand next year, we anticipate, certainly 2015, we anticipate progressively a reduction in overall demand. We're forecasting a market between 1.7 and 1.9 million units, which is down from a peak of around 2.7. So dramatic decline. And the second of impact is the weakness of ruble and the dramatic decline in ruble we saw progressively through November and December and into January. So all manufacturers have an impact. But Nissan has a big commitment. We have a big manufacturing facility in St. Petersburg. We can produce 100,000 vehicles in St. Petersburg. And also with our alliance partner Renault, we have a big investment with AvtoVAZ, which is the Lada brand in Russia. So we have set a very big commitment in Russia for the midterm. And Nissan, obviously the next 18 months, 2 years are going to be quite difficult, but beyond that, we're looking to capture 10% market share. And we will continue to invest in products and in infrastructure in Russia because we see that as an opportunity in the midterm.
Okay, Paul Willcox, Chairman of Nissan Europe, thank you for speaking to us from the Geneva Motor Show.
Okay, plenty more exciting car pictures for our motor fans out there to come, I'm sure. For now, they take us through the markets.
Well, we've just seen the European markets open up and open slightly up at the start of trading today. Shares in the bank Barclays down 1.4% after their full-year earnings were hit by legal costs, including €1 billion that they're setting aside to cover the cost of allegations into manipulating the foreign exchange market. But as you can see, the rest of the European markets seeing some slight gains there. Over in Asia, after the record finish that we'd seen on Wall Street on Monday, the optimism was pretty short-lived on the Asian markets, as you can see. The Shanghai Composite down over 2%, just the Kospi and Seoul seeing slight gains. And in Japan, we'd seen shares in the electronics giant Sharp close down by 3.4% after the company warned they're looking at restructuring their business.
Okay, well, let's look at Greece now. Big question, could they be heading for a third bailout?
It's been a subject of some debate, though. After this 4-month extension expires to Greece's bailout, that should be at the end of June, they'll almost certainly need some sort of additional funding, and that's because Greece's borrowing costs are still way above levels that they'd be able to access the markets. But we're getting the first commentary on this from one of the European ministers. It's come from Spain's economy minister, who spoke publicly about what might happen next for Greece yesterday. Let's hear what he had to say.
With Greece, we are now negotiating a third bailout. That means that we have to recalculate their financial necessities over the next few years and lend them money again. I'm not sure if it will be 30, 40 or 50 billion euros, but it would be in that range. And around 12 to 13% will be paid by Spain.
Now, those comments came as a surprise to many, including the head of the Eurogroup, Jeroen Dijsselbloem. His spokeswoman said that this wasn't something that was being discussed among Eurozone finance ministers. And a spokeswoman for Mr. De Guindos said after that speech that he was simply estimating the size of a new bailout and what was likely to be Spain's contribution. We can imagine that perhaps he didn't pick those figures out of the air, though. There's going to be some discussions going on behind the scenes on exactly what's going to happen for Greece after they get through this bailout extension, which is, of course, the end of June.
Indeed.